of Politics Society.
Hi, I'm Aditi and I'm an editorial team member for Incite.
And today we are interviewing Saskia for the role of President of the Students' Union.
Hi, Saskia.
Hello.
We're so excited to be interviewing you today.
Thank you for having me.
How's your campaign going so far?
Yeah, it's going good. Feeling a bit tired, but just going to keep up the energy.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it, so that's the main thing, I think.
Okay, cool.
So for the first question,
Yeah.
we have a quote from the Students' Union booklet about the president role.
Yeah.
Leading the union involves having a vision. And what's your vision for the Students' Union?
Okay, so I think my vision is that the Students' Union is a place where all students feel represented. They feel that they can come in to the building, that they can speak to any of the sabbatical officers, any of the officers, also the part-time officers, and know that they can really get their problems, issues, ideas heard, and that it's a welcoming environment, I guess. So that's probably my vision, yeah.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned leadership skills on your manifesto. What would you say is your leadership style?
So I think leadership skills is something that I've really worked on over the past few years. So I think being president of the Surrey Dance Squad was my first sort of taste of leadership. And I think definitely leading a team, also choreographing, is something that really gave me the skills of how to lead, like how to be organised, time management, making sure that everyone knows where they're supposed to be. I think that my leadership style is very much team focused, so I want to make sure that the team understands me, understands how I work, and that we sort of find like a mutual understanding. And yeah, I think I'm just hopefully like a fun, friendly person that people are happy to be led by.
Yeah. Do you think your leadership style has evolved from when you first started and from where you are now?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think I've learned skills from being president of Dance Squad to being a part-time zone member was like a good step.
Yeah.
And then I think up to being a VP was like a further step. And I think definitely leading my zone this year, they've been so great. It's been a really exciting opportunity to understand how different people work, how different people's ideas can really like come to life. And so yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you were VP Community last year and you ran in the election. So in regards to your manifesto from last year, can you talk us through it? And do you think you've achieved all of your manifesto points? So if we could just show the audience her manifesto from last year.
Okay, yeah, so yes, I'm currently the VP Community, about halfway through my year.
Yeah.
In the first week after Freshers Week, I ran a personal safety campaign called Safer at Surrey, where we had self-defence workshops, we had a Q&A with the police. I gave out lots of flyers. We even had the citrus night was themed like cops and robbers, just to like make it a bit more fun and friendly.
Yeah.
And I had really good feedback from that. I definitely hope it's something that the sabbatical officers will take forward next year. We also, the first things I did was get charges put into Rubik's so that when students are on a night out, if their phone dies, if their friends have all left without them, they can charge their phone so they don't have to walk home without a phone. Because it's, I think, walking home alone, especially when all the streetlights are being turned off, it's scary enough as it is, even if you have a phone, but if you don't have a torch, you don't have any way to contact someone, then I think that's a lot worse. The other things I've been working on, so perception of students was my second point of my manifesto, and this has been something that the whole zone have really been trying to work on to make sure that Guildford residents understand that students are residents too, and that they're not just drunk and making noise all the time and leaving their bins out on purpose and that kind of thing. And so I think a project that I've been working on this year is the community rep scheme. So it wasn't part of my manifesto, but it's something that Maisie, a zone member from the previous community zone, she came up with this idea of running a community rep scheme, which is basically where we have student volunteers out in the community, and they live in like the streets surrounding the university, and they are sort of the first port of call, but also a positive student representative of the University of the Students' Union. So this year I've really taken Maisie's scheme and ran with it. So last year they had 5 volunteers. This year I've got 11, and it's being really well received by the community. We're going to be having an official launch co-hosted with the Mayor of Guildford at the Guildhall. So that would be really good, and that's going well. It seems to be making a good impact. My final point in my manifesto was about community spirit and really making sure that the university comes together as a community. And I think I've been working on that mostly surrounding varsity. So varsity's coming up this year. We've got new opponents. Should be really exciting, and I really wanted to make sure that all of the university feels welcome there, not just the sports teams. So we're going to be having like a pep rally event on the Monday before varsity. So all students can come along. We'll have DJ Leroy there. We'll have like competitions going on. We'll be teaching everyone some chants. And the other thing that was also on my manifesto was having a competition to get a proper chant for Surrey. And with the zone officers at the training, I decided to get them to come up with some chants, and they came up with some brilliant ones. Like it was so funny. Like they were so great. So I think we'll definitely be keeping some of those. But also I've recently just announced a competition for all of the Team Surrey clubs to come up with a chant for varsity, send it to me, and then there's a prize which is like player layer kit for their team, and also a £100 Tesco voucher. So and I've had quite a few responses so far, so it's going well. But so I kind of have ticked off all my manifesto points.
That's good. That's
already.
A good thing.
I've still got half the year left, so it's going well.
Yeah.
I think there's always more and more projects that are popping up, and this year we've got so many events like varsity colours ball, student awards, everything going on. So it'll be good. Yeah.
So turning to your current manifesto.
Yep.
You talk about the experience and the skills that you've gained from this year. Can you give us an example? I know you already talked about this a bit, but like a specific example of something you've achieved or really learned from this year.
So something, I think one of my most recent biggest achievements this year was probably, as I mentioned briefly, the streetlights in Guildford have all been, the Surrey County Council have been turning them off between midnight and 5 in the morning, which straight away, as soon as I heard about this, I wrote in to the council and said, this is not good enough, it's not safe for our students. I went and attended a Residents Association meeting with Alex, President. She came with me as well, and we went and there were some councillors there, and we really raised our voices and made sure they understood the problems. We then went and met with a Surrey County councillor and told her which streets we felt urgently needed to be kept on. So the ones that are really densely populated with students, like Guildford Park Avenue, where I think 83% of the houses there are students. And we just said that, look, our library's 24/7, we have a nightclub, students go out, and also some students are working in the hospital doing night shifts. And so they took the streets away, and it all went a bit quiet, and they said there was going to be an appeal process, and that it was going to be over Christmas, and we were all like, oh, the students aren't going to be here. But I went to a meeting this week with the guy who's in charge of lighting of streetlights, that's his job, and he presented me with this big map of all the streetlights and all the ones that we'd asked for, he said that are going to be kept on, and he's also asked me to let him know of any other streets that we think should be kept on. So we're going to be collecting some data and trying to find out, because I was so pleased when I saw that they'd actually taken us seriously, and he's keen to give us some more, give us a bit more leeway with other streets that we want kept on as well. So that was definitely a big success.
It must be so nice to see the tangible results of something that you've
absolutely
done.
I love it. It's great. I think it's part of why I love the job so much, because you really can make a big difference. It's great.
And on the flip side of that, do you think there's an example of something that you regret or something that you would do differently this year?
I think it's tricky. I think maybe one thing that I regret, I guess, was, I said about the phone chargers, bringing them in. So I did lots of research into the best companies, found a company that seemed really good. We paid a considerable amount of money for these, and they said it was going to be, under guarantee and all of this, and that we could have, they'd keep them, they'd check up on them and everything if there was any problems. But then it turned out that, so they put the chargers in, and it turned out that they were actually a bit faulty, they're not in an unsafe way, but there's supposed to be 8 ports, but one of them isn't connected or something. So then we sent back an email and sort of said, look, you sent us this, but it's faulty, and they basically just didn't ever reply. They just disappeared off the face of the planet. So I think, I was really keen. I wanted to get the phone chargers in for the first week so that students were safe. But I think, in hindsight, definitely making sure that everything is definitely correct rather than rushing into something. It was with good intentions that I wanted it in there. But I think just making sure that we've definitely got the best company for the job is something that I would definitely work on in the future, and that's definitely a lesson that I learned. But they're still in Rubik's, they still work. It's just a little thing that was if only I'd sort of really gone that extra mile just to check everything, then yeah.
That sounds good. It was like a learning experience.
A learning experience, absolutely, yeah.
So we're moving on to our sort of final questions. You're also running for NUS delegate. So what's your opinion on the NUS? And do you think it is an effective organisation?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. So as being the VP community this year, I've been to a lot of training with the NUS, especially at the start of the year, but I've been to a few like extra courses like Women in Leadership Conference over the year, and my personal experience with NUS has not been good. I was very underwhelmed by their training. It was very badly organised. I would turn up to the session at 9 a.m. and the rest of the group wouldn't turn up until 10:45, and no one would even say anything. They'd just be like, oh well, we'll just skip out this section of the training, and I'm sat there like, well, I've been here for 45 minutes. And I just felt that the NUS officers personally weren't very inspirational. They really, I was sat there listening to Malia and Shelley, and I just remember thinking, like, Alex, president of the RSU, could do a better job. And we were asking them questions, and they were just not giving us an answer back. And I just think that the NUS in general it hasn't done very well this year. I feel like they really have so much power that they could use. They can easily get into meetings with members of parliament, they can make change, but they instead are doing sort of radical demonstrations, which I personally feel like gives students a bad name and like brings down the perception of students. I feel like if they've got the power to have meetings and talk face to face with people and make change, they should be doing that, not making radical demos and making people run up and down streets with signs. Like, I get that they want to bring students together, but when they have the power to make change, I feel like they should be doing it slightly more wisely. But I mean, in terms of the NUS in general, I think it's good to be in the conversation. I would say that we'd need to ask the students what they think, but I think another problem is that if you go on the NUS website, the first thing, the whole front page is NUS extra card. And that's what students think it is. Like, they don't, because that's what they say.
We're going to have to wrap up
here.
Okay. But thank you so much for letting us talk to you.
No, thank you for having me.
We've gained a really good insight.
Sorry, I was talking so much.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It was really good.
So make sure to follow up with our other interviews with the description box. It's got all the videos with all the other presidents and the union chairs.
And make sure to subscribe to Stag TV and follow us on Facebook on our Politics Society page and the Incite page. Thank you so much. Thanks, Saskia.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.